Before we get to the Republican senator, take a look at the Republican Senate leader.
I want you to take a look at that stack of paper behind me. It's the most powerful argument yet against ObamaCare.
That wasn't Sean Hannity's contract. Here's what made Mitch sick. Still another health care fee found, and it is a big one, confirming Nancy Pelosi was right.
But we have to pass the bill so that you can find out what is in it.
Well, turns out a lot of stuff was in it. Lots of surprises, including this latest one, a $63 charge for every worker, for every company, to cover every person with a pre-existing condition. That's 190 million workers at a cost of $25 billion over 3 years. But that's just the latest. Remember the payroll tax hike and higher taxes on investment income? The financial hit, $317 billion. A CADILLAC tax on high-cost insurance plans, another $111 billion for that one. A mandate that employers provide health care or pay a fee, tack on $106 billion. An annual tax on health insurance providers, $102 billion. Then there's the individual mandate, $55 billion for that one. We're not done. Tax on medical device makers, $29 billion. And the list goes on and on and on. More than 20 new taxes and fees totaling more than $1 trillion. $1 trillion. That is double the estimate just a few years ago. And folks, it ain't over. To Hadley Heath, who fears it could send employers over the edge. Hadley, the real shocker here is I talked to a lot of CFOs and accountants at companies. They didn't know about this. And it's sort of like, you know, peeling that onion like you're crying as you're doing so.
Right, Neil. You saw that stack of paper, 20,000 pages of Obamacare regulations that have been released over the past 3 years. It's 7 feet 3 inches tall. That's 9 inches taller than Kobe Bryant. So those regulations that are coming out are full of items like this one, the $63 per person fee that's going to hit us next year. Employers are looking at this. It came out through regulation released this week, so it's not something that they've carefully prepared for. I think this fee, more than anything, illustrates what this health law is all about. It's an unholy alliance between government and insurance companies because they're going to get about 4/5 of that money.
You know what's weird about it, and I guess we should have seen a lot of this coming, but it's meant to pay for insurance companies that have to cover those pre-existing conditions. Nothing comes free. And the thought was, well, the insurance companies would pick that up or there would be surtaxes that they'd have to deal with. But it's the companies that provide those insurance plans to their workers that are paying this fee and putting this money into this pool. And if you are a business and you're looking at trying to keep your balance sheet even, and now you have this charge of close to $70 a worker, something tells me you're either going to cut back on workers or cut back on the planned increase you're planning for those workers.
And we've already seen some companies, especially if they have low-wage earners that work hourly, they're actually cutting back on the number of hours that these workers can work so that they're switching them from full-time status to part-time status. This is a way that some employers are trying to avoid the mandates in the health law. But most importantly, it's a myth that companies or rich CEOs or employers are going to be the ones who are ultimately paying for this. They could pass it along to consumers through higher prices or through layoffs, like you mentioned, or through reductions in hours. And I would also note, in last month's jobs numbers, we saw an increase in private sector jobs, but that was almost equal to the number of people who added a second or even third job. So Americans are having a very hard time making ends meet, and Obamacare is not helping.
Yeah, I'm just so surprised, Hattie. Like I said, so many financial types of companies had no idea about this. I don't know whether that should worry me or not surprise me, but thank you very much. In the meantime, he tried. Boy, oh boy, did he try. But